First up, though, we have the head of marketing at Houser, Sarah Hewerdine. Sarah, good morning. Nice to have you with us in the studio.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Last time you were with us, you were live on Microsoft Teams from Bali, but you're back in Dubai this time.
I am. I can't lie, I do miss it a little bit.
The summer holidays are a distant memory for most of us now. And today, we're talking about suburbia. Why is suburbia on your mind?
So what we have noticed recently in the Dubai market, as everybody has in the core villa communities, the key communities, prices have really skyrocketed. So what we've actually noticed is the suburbs of Dubai gaining a lot more popularity, a lot more people migrating out there, getting a cheaper price per square foot. And I think it's definitely a trend that we're seeing within the last year, but I think we're going to see a lot more activity come in the next 12 months as well.
When I think of suburbs, I mean, let's have a definition. I mean, I immediately think of America, 1950s, 1960s, the post-war boom. That's when the suburbs really grew up, and sitcoms based in suburbia. How are you defining a suburb?
So I think the way I just really define a suburb is anything beyond Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, the other side. So we're talking further out communities, past the ranches, moved on really along the Al Qudra corridor, Motor City, Sports City. So it's really all of that side of Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed where we're seeing what I define as more of a suburb is very... one person could say one thing, one person could say another, but I think collectively when you talk about real estate, and I speak to a lot of people on the ground, that's really what we're classing as the suburbs of Dubai now.
It's interesting, just a quick personal aside, if you'll indulge me for a second. We bought our house, my wife and our family, 7-8 years ago here in Dubai, and the one criteria that my wife had, and she's born and raised in Dubai, she said, I want to be the right side of the 311, the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road. So we live in Barsha South, and it's a community there, and it's like many other communities, and it's fine. But I remember her saying, I'm not going, is it south of the 311 or whatever, but further out than that.
Yeah.
That was her definition.
And I think, and I definitely think that's the perception a lot of people have, is you think, I don't want to be on the sticks of Dubai, I don't want to be, the furthest point out. But we're a city, we're a developing city. As a city expands, the suburbs expand. And I think what is, the town square of today that you think you're on the edge of Dubai, give it 10 years, you won't be. And I think that's just how, how cities develop.
Well, again, my second self-indulgent real estate story of the day, so please forgive me, but when I bought my first home in Dubai, which was 2003, an apartment in the Greens, and it felt like the absolute middle of nowhere. You could not get a taxi there for love nor money.
Yeah.
And obviously now it's the heart of Dubai.
Yeah, exactly that. And Andrew and I were just talking in the green room about, you might want to go out for some drinks, but you live in Town Square. How do you get back? That's such a far, half an hour drive. You get a safe drive if you need to. And I think that it's become a lot more accessible. And I think, roads have developed, communities have developed. You get a lot more for your money out there as well. And I think if you're buying in Dubai with a longer term horizon, then you're willing to, have that further out commute, maybe far out now, but like I say, give it 10-15 years and you're actually going to be I guess maybe not the Greens of today, but you're definitely a lot closer to the city. And
you've been crunching the numbers because that's what you do at Houser. I mean, and the numbers are compelling. So you've been comparing, is it a 3-bedroom townhouse in the Burbs, on that side of the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, or a 3-bedroom townhouse you're using Dubai Hills, an example, which is on Al Khail Road, is a little bit closer to town, and it's almost half the price out in the suburb. Not quite, but almost half the price. What are the numbers? So
you're looking at around 1.6 if you want to get a 3-bedroom townhouse in somewhere like Town Square. If you're going to look in Dubai Hills, you're looking at around 2.7. 2.7 to 3, depending, where you're at. That's a similar, plot size, a similar unit size of around just over 2,000 square foot. But when you look at the price per square foot, you're looking at around 700 dirham a square foot in Town Square. You compare that to Dubai Hills and you're looking at around 1,500 dirham. And I think this is, the reason I picked those two communities is because when you look at Dubai Hills, a lot of people moved there in 2020, pre-pandemic, even post-pandemic, rents were very cheap. It was a really well thought of community in a great location. Rents have gone crazy, prices have gone up, and those that lived there originally, a lot of young families, they have now thought, rents have increased. If we want to buy a similar unit, we can't afford to buy here, so we have to look further out. And there definitely is a lot of migration of younger families moving towards places like Town Square because they just simply cannot afford the places like Dubai Hills.
And it's a similar story with the rents. Again, we all live here. We all know people. The stories of, my landlord's put up my rent by 60%. And I've just got to move out. I mean, those stories are seemingly endless at the moment, aren't they? We know we have the rental committee, but we also know there's a game that landlords play.
Yeah. And I think, and we've touched on this before, but rents were, in my view, were quite undervalued before this kind of rallying that we've seen. So I think we just got used to those rent prices. And when you look even at rent registrations in those communities around Town Square, Moudon, actually rental registrations are similar on par the increase that you've seen across all of Dubai, but we have had a lot more new supply come into those areas, so there's definitely more end users buying up there, but you definitely do have some investors buying in those areas with good yields, which means that then more renters are moving out there as well.
Oh right, so people are buying it to rent out, to be a landlord.
Yeah, you're definitely finding there's a good portion of that. I think that's becoming more popular. Yields are very strong around there. You've got around 6 to 7% gross yields. So I think you've definitely got a lot more investors that are willing to look out there and look again with a longer term horizon.
Are the banks still willing to lend at these valuations at the moment? Because valuations are a little bit higher at the moment, and we know bankers are cautious by nature. Loan-to-value ratios are something that they look at. You mentioned, 2.7, 2.8 million dirhams for a small townhouse in Dubai Hills. Is a bank going to look at that and get it valued by, I don't know, a Cluttons or whoever it is, and still give out the home loan for that?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I can't give a direct answer as to, if there's any changes around that. From what I've seen and what I've spoken to with mortgage providers, there hasn't been a huge difference in terms of what they're willing to loan against. Again, you look at those prices and you think, how inflated they are. But again, you compare it to other cities and you actually think maybe this is what the value of this home should be in this proximity, 10 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes from the marina. So I think there definitely is that kind of stigma around the fast increase. But when it comes to mortgages, I haven't heard otherwise. And
deals are being done. I'm looking at your data from Hausa, and you say, when looking collectively at these suburban communities, so the other side of the 311, the Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Road, sales in the third quarter of this year, and we're almost done now, what are we, 15th of September, not quite, but almost done, are pretty much double to the third quarter last year in terms of the number of deals being done. Just 45 seconds on that.
Yeah, exactly that. So you have had new supply into those areas. So these are areas like Town Square, Imran, Moudon. So you definitely have had more supply enter, which lends itself more to an increase in those numbers. But even if you look at the Springs, the Meadows, Dubai Hills, and look at those communities, you've only seen around a 25% increase in Q3 on those transaction numbers, but you're seeing a much larger increase in the further suburbs of Dubai. So a lot more activity happening there. I think it offers end users and investors, a very good opportunity to be a home buyer rather than continuing paying inflated rents. And it'll be interesting to see what actually happens as Dubai expands over the years.
Keep your messages coming, 4001. You can download the ARN Play app and message us for free. Matt's been in touch. Thanks very much indeed. Others have as well. Coming up next, we're going to be continuing our conversation on real estate. But for now, Sarah Hewardine of Hausa, appreciate your time.
Thank you.